All right, let's talk about triggers. And these are my definitions. You probably won't find these online or on Webster, but and in the context of this workshop, it's important. So trigger has a couple definitions. One is an unexpected stimulus from the outside, and there's some kind of a story associated with what happened, some kind of story associated with that stimulus. There's another definition that's kind of relevant. So being in a triggered state. So that's when you get into some kind of unconscious survival reaction to that unexpected stimulus. So like fight, flight, freeze, or appease are one of the common responses. So this, I thank Sarah Payton for the graphic, and she does a lot of work on the brain, the brain interactions and how they relate to nonviolent communication. But something happens over here, and we experience it as a trigger, and there's like a bullet, right? And I'm using the movie The Matrix sort of as a metaphor for all this stuff. So we have this trigger bullet coming at us, and there's a story associated with that trigger bullet, and then there's some kind of a reaction. So what we're going to be interested in a little bit later is in identifying the story. So that's where we're going. So what I'm gonna invite you now is to go into a guided, embodied self-empathy practice. And you might consider turning off your video camera to go through this. And you were invited to work with a situation that had you triggered, like intensity 6 out of 10. We probably wouldn't want to work with something bigger than that right now because we don't have, like lots of time. But hopefully you have something that you can work with in intensity around 6. And so inviting you to get comfortable, and yeah, let me share my screen. Get comfortable and identify that triggered situation that you would like to work with. And notice, you might consider closing your eyes, because I find that when I close my eyes, I'm able to go inward a little bit more. So when you bring this triggered situation into your awareness, notice any kind of sensations that are happening in your body. So follow the sensation in your body, and place your hand in the areas that you feel something going on. Maybe it's in your belly, maybe there's some tension in your belly or something, or maybe there's constriction in your throat area. So just place your hand in the area where you're feeling that sensation, and say hello. Just welcome that sensation. Welcome it like if it were a friend. And stay with that sensation, inviting it to just accept that it's there, not trying to push it away, but just noticing and welcoming it, welcoming whatever's coming up for you around the sensations that you're feeling in your body. And I invite you to express, through some kind of a movement. And I think everyone is muted, but if you need to express a sound as well. So basically just allowing, that sensation to express itself through your voice or through some kind of movement. Maybe you raise your hand, maybe you're waving your fists at the sky, or you're jumping up and down, or maybe you lie on the ground. So just giving you a little bit of time to do that. So expressing the sensation through some kind of a movement. And moving your body is important. So we're wanting to be embodied in this practice. So move your body in any way that feels natural. So verbally, name the feeling that's coming up for you. Like if it's anger, just name it. If it's frustration or tension, just put a word to it. Maybe it's sadness. So name the feeling you're experiencing to yourself. And I find it helpful to say it out loud. And now that you're in touch with that feeling, explore some kind of a movement that might represent the need that you're longing to have fulfilled. So there's a longing to have this need fulfilled that's associated with the feeling. So explore any kind of motion that might represent the feeling or the need. For instance, like if maybe a need for freedom and openness. I notice that I open up my chest and I look towards the sky, and that feels congruent with that openness or freedom that I'm longing for. If I have a longing for connection and closeness, I might embrace myself. If I have a need for beauty, then I might look towards the sky, or maybe even look towards the ground. And I'm imagining that most of us are indoors, but if you have nature around, you might look at a plant or a tree. And allow yourself to mourn that need that you're longing for isn't being fulfilled in a way that you would like. Gosh, maybe you were looking forward to going to Yosemite, and it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Maybe it snowed, or maybe you moved to the Midwest, and so Yosemite isn't accessible today. So allow yourself to feel whatever's coming up. It could be sadness. Maybe you're tuning in more into the longing for that sense of beauty and magnificence. But allow yourself to feel whatever's coming up. Often there's, at this point, as we're mourning, often there's potential tears. Allow yourself to cry if that's coming naturally for you. And just be with yourself for now, as hopefully at least you got to taste a little bit of mourning allowing yourself to feel whatever feelings had come up as you acknowledge the needs that are up for you. And I invite you to slowly open your eyes, come back to the room. And rejoin the Zoom. Would love to see more faces, so invite you to turn your video back on. And we're going to work with that embodied experience. So hopefully you had some kind of experience that was helpful to you. And but I'd love to hear from, if you were able to successfully go through the embodied practice, if you could comment briefly on, like, how was it for you in a minute or less? If you're willing to do that, raise your hand and unmute yourself. Otherwise, we'll go straight into the Crystal. Go ahead.
Well, it was really cool. It kind of reminded me of the somatic work and, feeling the body. And I enjoyed kind of like the guided meditation part, and just it felt good to connect the NVC practice with the somatic body work. And I could feel like things kind of releasing and moving through, and just that whole NVC morning I've been finding really valuable. So I just really appreciate it.
Thank you, Crystal, for sharing your experience. All right, one more hand, and then we'll go to the work. Rachel, I see your hand's up.
Thank you. I had a difficult time at first focusing on the trigger. I kept wanting to instead think about my spouse's situation and what they're going through. But when you got to the part of the guided meditation discussing mourning and centering on that is really where I was able to settle into myself and my situation and start focusing on that. So that was fully unexpected for me, for the morning portion to be what pulled me in.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. So hearing that you had a hard time focusing on yourself and that you were more concerned about the needs of your loved ones. Thanks for sharing that. All right. Let's go ahead and let's move on to do a little bit of work on what it is to go a little bit deeper. So what we'd like to do in this point is help you to identify the story that you made up about what happened. And I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to do that. So what was the story that you made up about what happened? So I'm going to go ahead and set a timer, and I can help you get that. But go ahead and give it a go for a couple minutes. And I forgot to turn on the recording. I used to have the story, oh, there you go, messing up again. I'm so stupid. Why didn't I remember to push the button? So that could be like an example of my story. All right, I see a couple hands up there. Sonia and then Jason. Are you, do you have a story that you're willing to share?
Yeah, I can share what I wrote here. I don't even know if you need the context, but
I think just the story.
Just the story? Yeah. What an asshole. He's grumpy and annoying, doesn't have compassion. He doesn't know how to speak kindly and gently, and is oblivious to how his behavior affects the people around him. He's emotionally retarded. He's emotionally retarded. I love that. That's beautiful. Yes. So save that one. I think that last line really captures it, right? He's emotionally retarded.
Thank you, Sonia. Jason, go ahead. Jason, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, there we go. I always use emotionally constipated. That's the one that we always use.
All right. So who's emotionally constipated?
No, just along those lines. For me, my story was a little bit different. I think mine is kind of a self-reflective. I'm a big fly fisherman, so mine was fly fishing and not being able to find the right kind of fly to get the fish to bite. And when I finally got the fish to bite, I realized that my fly didn't have a hook.
Okay, that seems really observational. Like, did you have a story about yourself? Like, you know, how dumb could I have been? You know,
I think it
like
lends itself to. I think it lends itself to self-doubt and a need for acceptance.
Yeah. So self-doubt. What does that sound like to you? If self-doubt had a voice, like I don't know what I'm doing, or
I think for me, it's usually, am I good enough?
am I good enough? There you go. That's it. That captures it right there. Okay, I see one more hand, and then go ahead, Colleen, and then we'll get started with the next phase, which hopefully will be enlightening. So, Colleen, go ahead.
Yeah, mine. I don't know if anyone resonates with this, but I have a lot of insecurities, and so my story is that I'm unlovable, I'm unworthy.
Yeah.
But he wants me.
That I'm unlovable, I'm unworthy. That's a story. You got it. Thank you, Colleen. And I used to have that story too. So, so the invitation now is to summarize your story with one judgment. Like I'm unlovable. You know, that would be it. And I'm unworthy, you know, and whatever your story, just totally summarize it with one judgment. And I'm going to give you a minute for that. So basically, you know, some of you had a big paragraph, and if you can write one sentence phrase that summarizes the whole thing. And Sonia, you had a good one, and I can't remember what it was. Do you mind repeating that? What that line that we came up with?
I think you like the last line. He's emotionally retarded.
He's emotionally retarded. That's perfect. Yeah. So we're after a single phrase that kind of summarizes the whole energy. Thanks, Sonia. So yeah, I'm going to give you like a minute to do that. Is anyone struggling with summarizing their story into a judgment? Because I've gotten pretty good at summarizing stories into judgments, and so if you want a little help, I can help you out. All right, not seeing any hands. So now that you have that story, here's the thing. So you're going to take that story and you're going to play that judgment over and over in your mind for like 30 seconds. So you know, he's emotionally constipated. He's emotionally constipated. You know, and just do that for yourself for about 30 seconds. All right, that's about 30 seconds. So as you repeated the judgment over and over, what did you notice? Anyone willing to share, like as you repeated your judgment over and over again? How did you, yeah, what did you notice? Sonia, are you willing? Since you had such a good one.
I felt angry and like the other person needed to change.
Felt anger and wishing the other person would change. Thank you. Natalia,
I was inspired by Sonia. And my story is, what an ogre. You cannot treat me like that. And when I repeated it many times, I felt resentment.
You felt resentment. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing and for being honest. Any last shares about how it was for you to repeat your judgment over and over again? We haven't heard from many men in a while. Teo, are you willing to share just to like balance things out a little bit? Are you able to share your judgment or repeat your judgment?
Yeah. The thing is that I don't feel my story very strong, so I started wandering off with my mind as I was repeating this.
I see. Okay.
This is what I noticed.
Okay, right on. Thanks. And so now, don't worry, I'm not going to leave you hanging. So now we want to move into a little self-empathy practice. So now we're going to rewrite the judgment with the form, I love it when, and then insert your need. And as a matter of example, Sonia, would it be okay if we work together on that, just to transform it into a need? And would you be up for reminding us what your story was?
To reread it? Or
Yeah.
what an asshole. He's grumpy and annoying and doesn't have compassion. He doesn't know how to speak kindly and gently.
And what was the story, the judgment? I'm sorry, the one phrase.
He's emotionally retarded.
He's emotionally retarded. So as you know, now that we're like thinking about it, like emotionally retarded, like start to connect with the needs energy. Is it something around like connection? Are you really wanting connection or to be understood, or what? What's your primary need there?
Connection, kindness, closeness.
Connection, kindness, and closeness. Yeah. So your "I love it when" statement might be something like, "Gosh, I'd love it when my partner really gets me," or "I love it when my partner and I are connecting," or "I love it when I feel the joy of connection." So something like that. Some kind of statement of "I love it when," and then blank. You get to fill in the blank with whatever works for you. Can you think of?
First one.
Go ahead.
You cut out for a second. Could you repeat the first thing you said? I love it when, the first example.
Yeah. Gosh, I love it when we're getting each other. I love it when we're getting each other, and I love it when I'm able to be gotten, or I love it when we're connecting. Yeah, it doesn't have to be like super exact, just because I hear that the primary needs for you are like maybe mutual understanding, connection, and closeness. And well, when you said emotionally retarded, are you wanting for him to understand you?
I guess so. I think I remember I think the word warmth on the needs list, like a need for warmth.
Okay. Maybe it could be a need. Warmth feels kind of like a feeling to me, like I feel warm because we're connected.
Yeah.
But you get to put whatever words work for you. I love it when. I love it when, and some expression of your needs.
Yeah, it's. I'm just seeing how hard it is for me because I'm still. The phrasing that comes is like, I love it when you speak to me kindly, but it's still not putting it on my.
Yeah. So your need would be for compassion, right? Or
Compassion,
for love, maybe a need for love.
Love,
I love it when my need for love is met.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, just play with it. And again, this will get easier the more you practice and the more you go on with this stuff. Thank you, Sonia.
Thank you.
Nancy, I see your hands up. Go ahead. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So, you know, I want to give you my example and see what you think. Like, my example is like this judgment comes up in my head of my coworkers. They
Yeah.
are so wrong, and I hate it when they need to be, you know, spouting their wrong ideas.
Okay.
And
And so what's up for you around that? So I love it
so
when.
I love it when I can be more compassionate and more understanding and let go of my judgment. So it's not so much about, you know,
I love it when I'm able to behave in integrity with my values.
yeah, like I want to get rid of the need kind of. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So that's kind of hard to get rid of the need if you're wanting to live.
Well,
So
I don't think
work with
so.
me. This is
Yeah, thank
we're
you.
doing
Thank
NVC
you.
right now.
Yeah,
And-
that's why I'm confused and I really want to get it.
Yeah. So when you're pointing the finger at your colleagues,
Yeah.
that's the point that we're. Can you repeat that judgment, that your short judgment, one more time?
Yeah, I hate it when they always take the airtime and they're so wrong.
Oh, they're taking the airtime. So I wonder if you're wanting inclusion. Are you wanting maybe mutuality, to have your needs valued as much as theirs?
No, I really want them to be seen as wrong by like my boss.
Yeah. So
Which-
that's
which
so
is
we're trying to
really
bring it
not-
home. We're trying to bring it
It's
home
not,
to you.
yeah, but it's not humane. Like, it's not really what I want to
Yeah.
want.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm trying to help you.
that's-
I'm trying to work with you, and
I
maybe
know, but
we
that-
can't
but
do
you
it here. I'm okay if we don't
Okay.
do it here. I'm
Okay.
not trying to solve your problem for you. Just
Okay.
inviting you to try on something that might work. Like
So what is the
when-
invitation then?
the invitation for you is to try to identify what need is up for you. It's not about them because they're not here.
Right.
So when you have this thought that they go on talking about wrong things, are you wanting, you love it when people share accurate information. So that can be another yes.
Right.
So
Right.
I love it when people share accurate information or,
Okay. That's helpful.
So that's one. And,
Yeah.
maybe
That's helpful.
mattering as much as they do, right? Because you said they're going on and on. So maybe there's a need for justice.
Yeah, I love it when my boss kind of like stops them, like doesn't let them go on and on. Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay,
I love
thank
it when
you.
people empower value inclusion.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
thank you.
inclusion would be
Thank
up
you.
for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. And let's go and I see there's another hand and I want you to have an experience and then we'll bring it home and I'll open up the floor for any Q&A. So now, once you have your I love it when statement, I'm going to invite you to play that over and over in your mind. I love it when there's justice in our company. And just repeat that for about 30 seconds. All right, that's about 30 seconds. So as you repeated your I love it when statement, I'd love to hear from the people that shared earlier. How did it go? What kind of experience? Sonia, you're willing to share? I know, keep going back to you, but what was your I love it when statement and how did you feel after you repeated it?
So I came up with I love it when we feel close and connected.
Mm-hmm.
And when repeating it over and over again, I noticed right away that the statement connected me with what I loved automatically. Kind of like connecting to what I loved made me kind of feel more close and connected already, because
Mm,
I'm remembering the feeling of close and connected, and
mm,
um, that's coming up in my body. So I noticed that, and then also that it it I immediately felt different, and it gave me a different orientation point of how to like come from a place of moving towards what I wanted.
mm, So maybe you shifted to hopefulness or something like
Mhm.
that, or maybe some empowerment or
In clarity, I think, because
clarity.
clarity about what I'm wanting, what direction I'm wanting to go in,
Mm,
and what types of things might get me closer to what I want. Whereas before, it would get me to behave in ways that would get me further from what I want.
hmm So this strategy of the I love it one is allowing you to get closer to what you want as
Mhm.
opposed to farther away.
Mhm.
Thank you, Sonia. Thanks for sharing your experience. Anyone else that actually went through the I love it one statement? I'd love to hear. I'd love it if you shared how your experience went. I love it when participants raise their hand and share their heart with the group. Teo, go ahead.
I have to feel more optimism about the situation.
Feeling more optimistic. Yeah. Thank you. All right. We're almost out of time. Sonia, did you want to add more?
I just wanted to add, yeah, when I heard him say optimistic, positive, I felt a lot more positive about the situation. I felt more positive too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the shifts that might be helpful, or at least in my NVC practice, to shift the positive, because that's very common, but it doesn't tell a whole lot. But you can, like, the positive might be like hopeful or content or happy or something like that. So giving a little bit more flavor can actually be more connecting to yourself and to someone else. All right. So I'd like to move on. We're almost out of time with the regular portion of our workshop, and then we'll open it up for just general Q&A. So once you identify your primary need, whatever that was, like for love or compassion, you can list lots of strategies to meet those needs. We're not going to do that in detail here, but you have an example. The other one to sort of like complete the NVC process is, are you willing to formulate a doable request of yourself to meet your need? So yeah, so you know, going back to the ranger in Yosemite, would I be willing to drive south and go to the beach instead? So that might be like my solution for going forward. And so I'm going to let you all kind of do that on your own. But it's important to put it in terms of, would I be willing to, would I be willing to ask my partner if he's, willing to go to, counseling with me or to sign up for this workshop, or would I be willing to ask for something that would work for me? So again, this is hopefully you enjoy the workshop, and hopefully this was valuable to you. And the slides kind of have the week by week agenda of the 10-week series. So at this point, I want to go into a closing circle. And if you have other things to do, if you could raise your hand.